Good day, citizens. Today's show is brought to you by the Michigan Comics Collective. This is a comics group of writers, artists, inkers, colorers, letterers in Michigan. You can find them at michigancomicscollective.org. And they are all about networking with Michigan comics people to give people experience and producing high quality comics. They've partnered with 3 retail stores in Michigan, in the Tri-City area, Saginaw Bay City, Midland. So check them out at michigancomicscollective.org. Today's show is also brought to you by Moringa Oleifera. This is my business. I distribute Moringa. It is the world's most awesome food. If you drink it, it'll change your life. If you sell it, it'll change your life. Like your life is A, and then you drink this stuff, and it's now B. It changes your life, Jim. Okay, without further ado, let's cue the music.
Ow! Ow! Woo! Smash that! Get up,
Jim Lujan, welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast.
Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm very happy to be in the podcast. Thank you.
Paul Pate Podcast. You are now in the podcast. You are experiencing the Paul Pate Podcast. Jim Lujan, animator extraordinaire, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are here today to talk about your upcoming feature film. Tell us about it.
Revengeance. It's a Bill Plympton, Jim Lujan production. Animator Bill Plympton, legendary animator Bill Plympton. I wrote it. He's animating it, producing it, directing it. I designed it, storyboarded a lot of it, and so it's really a co-production. But it looks like a Plympton film. It looks like a Plympton version of my character's film. It's really kind of a neat hybrid.
That's awesome.
Hello, my name is Bill Plympton. I am a filmmaker, animator, and cartoonist. You may have seen my work, Your Face, which was nominated for an Oscar. Guard Dog, also nominated for an Oscar. And then a few years ago, I did a very successful Kickstarter campaign for a film called Cheatin'. And that is now coming out in theaters in April and will soon be on Vimeo On Demand. But the exciting news now is I am here to talk to you about my brand new feature film called Revengeance. Revengeance is my 8th animated feature, but it's the first time I've ever collaborated with another filmmaker, Jim Lujan. I met Jim at the San Diego Comic-Con actually, and he would keep handing me his DVDs. One rainy afternoon I put it on, and I was really struck by the originality of his humor, of his design, of his writing and concepts. So I called him up, I said, hey Jim, I really love your stuff. Let's do a project together. And amazingly, Jim said yes. So a few weeks later, I got the script in the mail, and it just blew my mind. It was so hilarious, so well written, such great dialogue, such great characters. I couldn't wait to get started on it. So to hear more about what's going on, let's go to Jim Lujan in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Bill. My name is Jim Lujan, and I'm an independent animator. And I am completely thrilled to work with Bill Plympton. It's a dream come true. I mean, who wouldn't be thrilled? The guy's a legend. The film is about this low-rent bounty hunter named Rod Rossi, the one-man posse, and he gets entangled with this job from this ex-biker, ex-wrestler, now U.S. Senator, named Senator Deathface. And he wants Rod to find something that was stolen, and he needs to find the girl who stole it. Throughout the movie, you'll get to meet a bunch of seedy bikers and crazy cult members and crooked cops and the whole underbelly of LA. Fans of The Big Lebowski, Pulp Fiction, I think they'll really get a kick out of this film. The script is done, character designs are done, Bill's working on the animation as we speak, and I'm working on a lot of the music. We're having a great time creating it. And there are a ton of really cool rewards. And if you're a Bill Plympton fan, you gotta have these things. To tell us more, let's go to Bill Plympton in New York. Hey, Bill.
Thanks, Jim. As I mentioned, we're coming back to Kickstarter again since it was such an enjoyable experience last time. This film is traditionally drawn. I do all the drawings myself, 40,000 drawings. After I do the drawings, I hand them to my team, and they scan them, clean every drawing digitally, and then they color. So it's still a tedious, time-consuming process. We're about a quarter of the way done with the animation, but we really have a long ways to go, and that's why we need your help. So check out a reward section. I think there's something for everybody. And with your help and a little bit of luck, we'll be able to finish this film by sometime next year. Jim and I can't wait to share this film with you. Thank you so much for your support.
Cool. So, what's it like to work with Bill Plympton?
It is a dreamy dream of all dreams. It has been. I thought it would be on a scale of 1 to 10. I thought it would be an 8.7, maybe an 8.8, but it has been a 9.9. And the only reason I say it's not a 10.
What can Bill do better?
If I was in person, it would be a 10.
Oh, okay. So Bill could.
Nothing he could do better.
Yeah.
He's been amazing.
Work in your garage or something like that.
I send Bill, for example, I'll send him some character designs for a scene or my version of some thumbnails of what this guy's apartment looks like.
Right.
And he'll send me back, I'll see the finished version or even the unfinished version of what he's created, and it's another level. It's really ridiculous.
Wow.
He takes my stuff and just it just really boosts it.
Plympton.
Yeah, completely. Plympton fans will not be disappointed.
And have you seen him draw in person?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you met him in person.
Yeah, he draws really quickly. I mean, there's lots of footage of him drawing online. He is exactly like that when he draws in person.
Yeah.
He just draws really, really quick. He doesn't erase a lot, and it's just really natural. I like that.
Yeah, he's got a distinct style too. For those of you who have not checked out Bill Plympton, Google him, and his art style is distinctive, and his animation, the movement of it, like the vantage point,
Yeah, his cinematography.
Is that what that's called? Cinematography, right?
Yeah, the point of view, like the POV of whatever character. It's insanely cool. The angles that he shoots from, and
he does it all old school, right? Does he?
Yeah.
Does he use the flash?
No, this is totally hand drawn. They're animating it from his drawings. I mean,
okay, so he's got like tween artists and stuff.
I don't know if it. Yeah, I'm guessing he might have tween. I haven't seen that part of the production process, but I know that most of the drawings. I mean, they're coming from him. They're his drawings,
right?
And he may have somebody doing cleanup or something. I don't know if it's so much tweens though, but he does a ton of drawings, old school, the light table,
Right.
It's really cool to watch him do that.
Yeah, I would love to just see that. Now you live in the L.A. area. He lives in New York, right?
New York City, yeah.
So, and you guys collaborate together on this film.
I drive there. I drive there every morning.
Right, that's a long commute.
And
do you go by way of St. Louis? It's just because when I do that drive, I go through Dallas.
I make a left at Albuquerque.
So, and now you wrote it. You're also really incredible at the music and voices. Are you one of the voices in the film, or are you more than one of the voices?
Many voices in the film. I'm probably about 80%, 75% of the voices.
Oh, okay. Are you the main character?
We have. Well, the lead character is a character named Lana, and it's supposed to be a 16-year-old girl.
Okay. And
I didn't want her to sound like a 16-year-old cross-dresser, so I had my friend Christina Wong, who's a comedian out here.
Okay.
She's really funny. She did the voice for Lana, and she did another voice in the film too. Really good job. Cartoonist Lalo Alcaraz. He's a sort of a political cartoonist. A lot of people know who he is. He's great. He did another voice in the film. And Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall.
Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall.
Kids in the
I
Hall
know him from News Radio.
Mm-hmm. We spent the day with him, and
how was that? That had to be fun.
He was coming out of a screening of Cheatin' in Hollywood, and Bill was out here, and I didn't. It's funny because we were, my cousin Sam and I were walking out of the screening, and Bill was there, and Dave must have been walking in, and it was at the end of the night, so we were taking off. So we didn't get to meet him that night, but evidently he came out after Dave came out and talked with Bill after the screening, and I guess they know each other. Okay. And they went and had a drink or whatever, and they were talking, and he told him, I want to be in your next film, whatever it is, I want to be in. And then he told him about Revengeance. He's like, oh, that sounds great, I'm in. So then we made, we made some arrangements, and my friend Ken Mora, who has a fantastic recording studio, he lives out near UCLA, kind of that area.
Okay.
He has a great recording studio at his house. So Dave just came by and we recorded with him and had dinner with him at the house, and that was a 10 out of 10. That was a great day.
Wow.
He's a really, really cool guy, funny guy, easygoing, just easy to work with, the whole 9 yards.
Down to earth, like he didn't have a posse with him?
No, it was just him. I was telling him, Dave, we could have murdered you. You don't even know.
Right.
I don't know how that was the first thought that was in my head,
but that's awesome, Dave Foley. I'm just picturing him tied up in the basement. We didn't know what else to do. It was our opportunity.
Dang it.
So, tell us about the writing process. You wrote this film. I mean, first, before we get into the writing process, because I want to ask you, your creative process. How did you get involved with Bill Plympton in the first place?
I'd met him a few times at Comic-Con, because he's right there, accessible at Comic-Con, and I used to walk around looking for animators, and there's not that many there. And I met him there a couple times, just
San Diego
brief.
Or LA?
San Diego.
Okay.
Comic-Con. This is probably 2000. Let's see. I went 3 years in a row. I went 2004, 5, and 6, or 5, 6, and 7. But anyways, I met him a few times, and then through my friend Ken Mora, the guy that we recorded at, he set up some kind of interview. Oh, my friend Raul has this show called Man vs. Art, and I got a call. That. Yeah, I got a call from Raul, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to interview Bill Plympton." I guess Ken hooked him up with that, and come down, and you can co-interview him. I'm like, "Oh yeah, thank you." So we went down there, and he interviewed him, and that went really well. And then he gave me the second half of the interview, and that went really well. So, and it's funny because I was, while Raul was interviewing Bill, I was videotaping him, and I was all, oh man, this is priceless footage.
Yeah.
And I was taking photos of us and everything, and I took a photo of Bill. At the end of the day, my camera freaked out. It locked up. I couldn't even turn it back on. And I got home. It only has one picture, and I'm not in it. Neither of us are. It's just Bill in the doorway like that.
Oh man!
But that's how I met him. Really got to talk to him that day, and I gave him a DVD.
Of your shorts.
Yeah, and I knew that he probably wouldn't watch it, or maybe he would, but I wasn't trying to push anything. And then a few weeks later, he was coming out here for the Annies, and Ken Mora met him there at the Annies, and Bill asked Ken, "Hey, is your friend Jim, is he at this event too?" So he watched it and was asking about that. So then after that, there was a few different events, and after he watched the DVD and really started like getting into my stuff, he then he knew like, oh, okay, this guy's for real. He's serious with this.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we started corresponding. And then one day to cut to the end, one day I got a phone call from him asking if he wanted to make a movie. But that was about 2 years later, after the interview.
Wow. And why did it take him so long?
Because he was working on Idiots and Angels. He had just finished that, and he was just starting Cheatin'.
Okay.
He had just started Cheatin'. So probably as I was getting to the end of Cheatin', that's probably when he called me, I think.
He's got 7 feature-length films before Revengeance.
Yeah, so this is Revengeance will be his 8th.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify something. You didn't send him a DVD of your shorts like that you put on, right?
No, it was a DVD of me and my shorts. There were dolphin shorts too.
Jim's an animator, and if you go to Jim Lujan Animation on YouTube, it's a YouTube channel that has over 30 animated shorts that Jim has done, and they're incredible. And like the drink in the beginning, those shorts changed my life.
Oh, I thought you meant this drink, the Silver Surfer.
No, they seriously, since the last year, since I discovered, your film, Counterclockwise in Foreverland, my life is just like, turned upside down. The things that I'm interested in, my animation and
animation is a powerful drug.
It is.
Be careful. Use it wisely, because it could suck up all your time and all your energy.
Yeah.
But if you use it wisely and really budget your time, then it could be your best friend also, because it's an easy sell to get somebody to watch something rather than read something.
Right. I like the short format too that you use, because say, for just hypothetically, if you make a 20-minute film, that's a long time in YouTube land, whereas 3 to 5 minutes is, people can buy into that.
Yeah. I found that it's kind of all or nothing. Either you make them short, between 2 and, let's say, 8 minutes, like short little films, self-contained films, or go huge, go a long movie.
Like
it's like length. People can if you tell somebody watch an hour and a half long cartoon, they're like, oh, it's like a movie. I mean, they'll either they're in or they're out. They're like, okay, if it's that long, it must be a movie. It must be good, or it must be good enough to be a movie. Or they're like, okay, I'll invest 4.5 minutes and watch this.
Right.
But if it's like, and ideally, it would be great to have 20-minute movies or 30-minute movies. That would be so nice. But those are a harder sell, and that's why I need a TV show would be good.
Noted. I'm writing that down.
Uh-oh.
Got it. 20 minutes. Tough sell.
It's a tough sell. It's not impossible, though.
No.
I mean, I saw
done.
your film, The Train Job.
So
I watched
now your the Revengeance film is a feature-length film, right?
Yeah, it's going to be between 70, 80 minutes. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. And so Bill said, "Hey, write the script, and I'm going to animate."
Yeah. Well, what happened was, I asked him, because he just literally said, he didn't say, I want to do a biker movie.
Right.
He said, I want to do a cartoon, a feature, using your characters and your story, your voices, your world. Right. And I was like, oh, okay. And he didn't say what he wanted to do. So the next time we talked on the phone, I said, well, let me ask you this, because if it's wide open right now, which of my cartoons jump out at you? Like, oh, this would be a cool movie. Like, are there any elements from any of the cartoons? Because at first he said, like he was talking about, like, oh, Freak Daddy, and these are all of my characters. Freak Daddy, or an Elf and Nerd, or Reverend John Henry Unicorn. Like, just like a hodgepodge movie.
Right.
And then I asked him which particular of my cartoons would he be interested, like what would make a good movie in your mind. And he said he picked two. He said Hard Crumbler, which is about bikers and stuff like that, and Rod Rossi, the One Man Posse. And I was like, oh, okay, great, that's perfect. I'll make a cartoon featuring bikers and Rod Rossi, the One Man Posse, the bounty hunter.
Right.
And I mean, because on paper it sounds like a really like epic action movie. Like Chuck Norris could be in this movie.
Right.
But it has all those elements, but it's just ridiculous. That's what makes it funny, because the bounty hunter isn't a big macho guy. It's like this little Woody Allen,
yeah, Woody
guy.
Allen.
It's just real sneaky. He's super sneaky. That's how he catches people.
He's got a comb over, right? Doesn't he?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. The first time I saw Bill draw him, it was like a thrill. I still have that artwork. Yeah, it was really cool.
So he said, okay, now write the script. So how long did that take you? So you got this idea, I'm going to make a Rod Rossi biker flick.
Yeah,
Then what do you do?
Funny? It takes as long, because writing it's really quick. It takes as long for me to plot it as it does to write it. So it took me like, I don't know, like 2.5, 3 weeks to plot it. To just write down, okay, this happens, this happens, this happens. Oh no, let's move this. You know what I mean? To get a really strong breakdown of the scenes. It took a few weeks to do that, and then it took about 2.5, 3 weeks to write it. So that's usually, because the more prep, unlike my animation, the more prep I do beforehand, the faster the writing I think will be.
Okay, so the more detailed your plot outline is?
Yeah. It's more like when I write, I just write bullet points, or actually I number them. This happens, like I'll say, like, number 1, Darth Vader enters the spaceship and questions Princess Leia. 2, R2 sent to the planet. 3,
Right.
It's like that.
And so now this is going to get really detailed. So, Mike, just questions that are coming to mind right now are probably too detailed, but so
that's okay.
Just tell me to stop if it gets too nutty. How many, from beginning to end, how many plot points would you say? Little notes, like scenes like that. Okay, Darth
I think
Vader.
Revengeance had like about close to 60.
Really?
Maybe a little bit less than that. Probably between 50 and 60.
So you just kind of have a blank sheet, and you start going, and bam, bam, bam. Maybe a little bit out of sequence here and then.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I have the notebook here. I have it somewhere. But yeah.
So it's just kind of coming out of your mind.
Anytime I've created a cartoon, because I kind of approach this the same way I've done all my cartoons, except they're on a little tiny scale.
Right.
But I always have scenes in mind. So I'll have, again, I'm going to totally use Star Wars as a reference.
That's fine.
But I'll have, okay, they have to have a scene where the Sand People attack Luke. Oh, we need to have a scene where he's flying his ship through the Death Star. We have to have a scene where Obi-Wan dies and he disappears. So like it's like when I think of a movie, I think of really important scenes.
Right.
And I kind of write those down, and then I go and make a numbered or bullet pointed list of this happens, and then it's nice to be able to, like, what I'm working on a thing right now, and it's nice to look at it. Every time I read it, I kind of can read it with fresh eyes.
Right.
So then I think, like, if I was watching a movie, I was like, wow, that comes out of nowhere, that doesn't fit, and then I'll move it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you could also go, like, drill down into one and just watch it stand alone in your mind, right? Like, go to number 58.
Every one of these points that I create has little. I don't write them out, but they have sub points. So like if it's he enters the bar to confront the bad guy, it's not like there's multiple things going on within that.
Right.
And then even when I'm writing it, that's another layer or another level.
Right.
And because then things kind of jump out. when I was writing Revengeance, it was like watching a movie. Hey, let me let my crazy dog out real quick. Hang on. He's tap dancing, which means he probably has to pee. Okay, yeah. When I was writing Revengeance, writing it, like actually writing the script for it, it was like kind of like watching a movie unfold right when I was watching it. So that's another reason it went so fast, because it was so much fun to do that.
Right. So what about the end? Do you know how it's going to end, or you just let it unfold?
Yeah, that's important too. Yeah, that's one of the first things that comes to mind if I'm creating a story, is the beginning and the end. Those two things come like right away come to mind. I think if I didn't have an ending, I don't know. I've never tried that where I haven't had the ending in mind already, because I don't know if I'd run into a wall or not.
Right. Or what if you got down to, like, you wrote down 60 points and you're just like,
well, yeah. And I don't want. And the other thing too, by coming up with an ending coming up with an ending early, means that I don't just blabber on, and the story doesn't just go, come on, wind the story up. Like,
right.
I like to have a really tight story to go off of, and then you can do little side things here and there.
Okay. All right. I got it. I'm writing this down too. Because I've had experiences, like, say, for example, with the train job. I wrote that like 3 or 4 times. I started and I didn't know how it ended, and it went on, and I got to the end, and I scrapped it. And I did that 3 or 4 times, but then the 4th time, I think it just came to me, like the ending came to me and everything, and that's where I think, then you can go in and bam, 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 write down the bullet points. Here's another thing that I did. I actually Googled, like, how do you write a story?
Yeah.
And Doug Tenaple is a graphic novelist, and this is what I did for my second graphic novel. He said, take an index card, write down the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then take the beginning and make it a story, and write down the beginning, the middle, and the end. Take the middle, make a beginning, a middle, and the end. And then take the end, make a beginning, and then take the, and then break it down even further. So and then all this on index cards, beginning, a middle, and the end. And so I did that, and I just said, I'm just going to follow this structure. This is the way this guy does it. I really struggle with writing. So that's how I did it. But I don't know.
I don't know. I think writing, I think it's whatever works. And when I say whatever works, I don't mean, I should say whatever works well, because you're writing so that people can watch it or read it or whatever.
Right.
So whatever audience is like is what works, I think. So I think books and videos and things can be really helpful, but one thing everybody, and this goes with anything, whether you're building race cars or a painter or anything, is doing it, working on it, like actually doing it is where you become better, not just reading about it.
Right.
They go hand in hand, though.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things where, with the train job, say, for example, just sitting down and, okay, I don't have anything, I don't have an ending, I don't know where this is going, but I just got to start trying to get there. And you try.
Yeah, and then also it's important that one of the things I keep in mind all the time, with just about anything, is you don't want to ice the kicker. You don't want to build something up so big in your mind where it's this, because creating is supposed to be fun. So you need to be real loose, and just, and almost like you don't care really about. You just need to put it out there, almost like you kind of don't care, because I found there was a time where I was trying to think of a name for a production company, And I'm like, this has to be the best name ever. This has to be the greatest name. I could give friends suggestions that was like, oh my God, that's a great, how did I think of that? That's a great name. Or here, you need a name for your album? Here, how about this? Oh, that's a great name,
Right.
And then when it came to mine, I
Right.
could not think of anything.
Right.
I was like so precious and tight
That was
about
like-
it.
Yeah, that's how I felt about naming this podcast.
The Paul Pate podcast. Oh, the Triple P.
So you didn't feel any you didn't feel any pressure when you got the opportunity to write a script for Bill?
No, in fact, that's the funny part. Revengeance. I had a couple of titles in mind because I knew this was going to be a revenge tale,
Okay.
and I wanted to. It was important to me. I wanted to have a one-word title.
Right.
That was important. But I also wanted a title that sounded so manly that it was ridiculous, like
Right.
just something. And I have a couple of them, and of course I picked the one that already existed. So, because Revengeance is a video game, I guess. There's a Revengeance.
Oh, is that
Metal
what that is?
Metal Gear Solid : Revengeance, and ours is just Revengeance. And I always thought, well, if it ever comes down to it, we can call it Bill Plympton's Revengeance or Plympton's Revengeance or
Right.
something.
Right.
But everybody will refer to it as Revengeance. But
Yeah.
or we could just not care and just put it out there. But I found out after the fact. And then there's a creator, Darwin Cook, who's a really, really talented comic book writer and artist. He's working on a Revengeance as well.
Yeah.
And his is like a noir, like
Yeah.
a crime noir.
Yeah.
And we wrote him a note because, and it wasn't a cease and desist. It was more like, oh my God, look at this coincidence. Like great minds think alike. It wasn't the fact that he picked Revengeance because I picked Revengeance.
Were you first? Were you first?
I don't know. I have no
Oh,
idea.
Okay.
But the thing that tripped me out wasn't that he picked Revengeance because I did that too, and there was already a Revengeance. It was that he used the same font that we were using, and I said
No
that's
way.
a huge coincidence. Yeah,
Weird.
and but I honestly think 100% think it's a coincidence because it's Darwin Cook and that guy's got a million ideas in his head.
Oh, really?
He would never lift something. And I wanted to put that out there really early on so that if anyone ever came out and said that, like, oh, look, he even lifted your font. I wanted to put that out there with like, no, it's just a huge coincidence and it doesn't matter. It really honestly doesn't matter.
Yeah.
None of that matters.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. We're to the part of the show called Stranded on a Desert Island. No, Stranded on a Deserted Island. Okay?
Or is it desert? It could be desert.
No, well, it's deserted. Okay, because you are going to have to choose. This is a rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to have to choose. I'm going to give you 5 items to choose. Okay? And you get to choose one
Okay.
thing to take to your trip to this deserted island. Okay, so the first one is going to be dessert. It's a deserted island. So what is the one dessert that you would take to the
Rice Krispie treats.
desert? Good choice. Band or musical act?
What's that?
Band or musical act? One. You got to take to the
Well,
deserted
obviously,
island.
the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Yeah.
Okay, movie.
Because they have a lot of variety.
Movie. What movie?
What's that?
One
movie.
One movie.
Oh. I would say I would take Pulp Fiction.
I would take that one too.
My favorite movie, yeah.
Actress.
Shoot. Well, I'm married, though. Wait, am I married in this desert island?
I did not give you a scenario in which you're going to this
God.
deserted island.
This would be a divorce island. I pick my favorite actor. All right, I'll say, wow. Holy crap. Now
you could take like
I have to
Jessica
think-
Tandy, and then it would,
Well, yeah.
it would be.
See, okay. I would take, golly. Well, see, because the other part throws all of the names I wanted to take.
Okay,
They're out the window.
let's just leave your lack of an answer. Let it hang there for a minute.
I'll come back
That's
to
an
that one.
answer. You'll come back. Okay, this is your last item. One tool from your garage or basement or tool shed.
A shovel.
Shovel.
Shovel is so helpful. You can use a shovel for so many things, good and bad. And let me think of my actress now. Okay. I would take. Oh, okay. Carol Burnett.
There you go. Very good answer. That's
I would
awesome.
take Carol Burnett.
Yeah, she would provide laughter. Right?
Yes. Oh, but then she'd complain probably.
Good answer, Jim. Jim Lujan, hey, it's been awesome having you on the podcast.
Thank you. On the Triple P.
All things